A kind couple picks up a mysterious armed adventurer on the road, unaware of her true intentions. On their way to a mountain getaway, a pair from Cape Town named Katherine and Hugh spots a lone hitchhiker named Liza in the middle of the road. However, the skeptical woman hesitates to stop, thinking that the stranger might be deranged. Driving past the teen, the man suggests they pull over, prompting the traveler to assume they'll give her a ride. However, the couple changes their mind when Katherine drives off as the traveler runs toward their vehicle. After stopping over and loading some groceries inside the car, Hugh takes over the wheel. While driving, he spots Liza again, and this time, they agree to give her a ride heading to the turnoff. However, when Katherine asks where she is from, the traveler responds sarcastically, mentioning she's from an alien planet. While on the road, the wanderer learns that the couple works in the ads industry, with the woman being a producer and the man an actor. They are looking forward to finishing a movie project soon. Shortly after, Liza asks Hugh how to know when performers are acting and when they're not. However, the jealous Katherine interjects, joking that her husband is not a good role player. The traveler only evades the question when the wife asks how old the hitchhiker is. Upon arriving at the destination, the couple pulls over and awakens the stranger, who is faking her sleep. Before the traveler leaves, Hugh asks her to get an apple from their grocery bag. Seeing how Liza eats, the wife offers her to have lunch at their place. However, the hitchhiker declines, asserting she doesn't need their help. Concerned for the explorer, Katherine becomes motherly and insists that she join them to eat at their mountain house before she travels solo. Upon hearing this, the stranger finally accepts. Upon arriving at their vacation house, the homeowners look for their caretaker, but no one responds. As the couple walks further, they find a note that the custodian took his mom to the clinic in Rietvlei. Because their housekeeper is gone, Hugh insists on driving the explorer back to the road after lunch. Shortly after, Katherine tours Liza inside the house with a modern and rustic look. When the hitchhiker examines the bike against the wall, the wife informs her that it's just for decoration. When they reach the bedroom, the stranger assumes the couple spent a lot buying the house. The producer confirms this, implying she worked hard to have what she has now. Following this, Katherine helps Hugh carry a wrapped artwork inside the house. Before opening it, she requests her husband and the hitchhiker to cover their eyes. After removing the covering, the excited wife shares that it's an expensive painting by the famous Fanny du Toit. However, the wanderer and the actor show confusion about what the piece is trying to convey. Upon witnessing their reactions, the embarrassed producer heads to see if their caretaker clears the trash bins. Shortly after Katherine goes out the door, Hugh and the hitchhiker look at each other and share a laugh, prompting the woman to return and be curious about what they're giggling about. Liza shows interest in going to the pool and intentionally hits the woman on her way out the door. Before plunging into the swim area, the hitchhiker removes her garments and invites the couple to join her. At first, the producer hesitates, but eventually jumps in when she sees her husband go first. Later, Hugh grills the food while Katherine and Liza sunbathe. When the woman asks the traveler why she is alone, the explorer shares that she doesn't have a motorbike. Shortly after, the producer calls Hugh to put sunblock on her back. As her husband does this, the wife assumes the stranger ran away because of a boy, prompting her to share that she was once like her. However, Liza corrects her, pointing out no one is like her. Following this, Katherine looks at her spouse, who spreads lotion on her legs while looking at their guest. When she tells him to stop, the actor offers to put sunblock on the hitchhiker. However, the traveler refuses immediately. When Hugh resumes grilling, he accidentally steps on hot charcoal, prompting Liza to smirk. Meanwhile, the actor uses his food tongs to get the charred wood out of the yard. Later, the traveler suddenly removes her undergarment, getting the griller's attention. When the pissed producer heads to the kitchen, her husband follows her. Sensing something unusual, Katherine tells her husband she wants the hitchhiker gone. However, the actor insists that the stranger needs their help and could be a potential cast in their movie. He suggests they give her lunch, dress her appropriately, and drive her back to the road. Suddenly, the traveler puts on her undergarment again, which relieves the jealous wife. While having lunch on the poolside, Liza shows her talent for opening liquor bottles using her teeth. Shortly after their toast, Katherine requests that Hugh get them glasses in the kitchen. After opening the cupboard and getting the drinkware, the phone suddenly rings, prompting the actor to answer it. When he hears a woman's voice, he immediately hangs up and snaps the telephone line. When Hugh returns to the dining area, Katherine asks her spouse who called them. However, the actor lies, telling her that the lines are down. After finishing their meal, Liza puts a scrap of meat on the log in the backyard for the animals. When the producer producer disapproves of the act because it might attract baboons, the hitchhiker reveals that there are small leopards nearby because someone around the area used to own one. Upon hearing this, Katherine learns that Liza lives nearby, which she calls nowhere. When Hugh asks where the hitchhiker was going when they picked her up earlier, the guest shares that she had no direction and just wanted to see what happens, like meeting them. When they discuss the traveler's departure, the producer comments on how small her bag is, implying that she needs more to maximize her traveling. Suddenly, the visitor extends her legs, twirls her hair, and flirtatiously asks Hugh if her stuff is enough to make it on her solo travel. In response, the actor thinks that her attitude will help her survive. Upon sensing Hugh and Liza's exchange, Katherine interjects and reminds the hitchhiker that her attractive appearance wouldn't get her very far, but the explorer believes it's her strength and aims to utilize it. However, the worried producer warns the explorer about the dangers of hitchhiking with minimal clothing. To show that she can care for herself, the guest shows that she owns a handgun for protection, prompting the couple to be curious about it. While Hugh asks if the weapon is loaded, the guest tells him it's not. Upon hearing this, Katherine grabs the firearm and practices to aim with it. When Liza asks for her weapon back, the producer ignores her and continues to position the handgun. Annoyed, the guest forcefully takes the pistol from the woman, leading to an accidental shot. When a nervous Hugh confronts them, the hitchhiker defends herself, saying Katherine pulled the trigger. However, the accused person denies it, pointing out that the visitor squeezed her finger. In shock, the actor expresses his surprise because he thought the firearm wasn't loaded. With fast action, he gets the ammunition and promises to return it to the traveler after he drops her off. Seconds later, they realize that the bullet pierced through the car, causing gas to leak. In a panic, Hugh requests Katherine to get a plug. However, while his wife is inside, the leaked fuel reaches the charcoal he threw earlier, causing a fire. Quick on her feet, Liza gets a casserole and puts it under the car to contain the spilling gas, stopping any further harm. However, when the actor attempts to turn on the car engine, he realizes the vehicle is for repair. He then reveals they must stay in the mountain house until the weekend. When the guest asks if he can call someone for help, Hugh reminds her that the lines are down, implying that Liza must stay with them until the weekend. However, the jealous Katherine sees it as a problem, thinking the stranger is ruining their getaway. Shortly after, the hitchhiker calls their attention and informs them that an animal took the food from the log. Later, Liza bikes around the mountain house using the bike in the wealthy couple's home. Meanwhile, Katherine reads a women's magazine while her spouse practices his characterization techniques based on a book for actors. Seconds later, the producer inquires if Hugh is doing fine, noting that he has been distant recently. In response, the actor shares that he is preoccupied with their upcoming project. Suddenly, he asks about the finances and if she is willing to sell the painting. However, she clarifies that the artwork is an investment, implying she has no intentions of having it for sale. Following their conversation, Katherine goes for a walk and joins Liza sitting on the rock formation. There, the hitchhiker finally reveals that she recently broke up with a guy named Booby, who gave her the weapon. She adds that her parents, who hated her ex-boyfriend, are already deceased, so she didn't have anyone to run to. Meanwhile, Hugh seizes the opportunity and goes through their guests' belongings. As he opens the bag, he shockingly discovers something. In return, the producer shares that her relationship with her partner is currently on a low tide. She describes her spouse as an emotionally illiterate person who tends to hide his feelings. Upon hearing this, the traveler comforts the woman, pointing out that men don't get their emotions. Shortly after, the wife invites her to return to the mountain house, but she prefers to stay there. When Katherine leaves, Liza takes out the ammunition from her back pocket and loads her handgun, revealing that she discreetly retrieved them earlier while Hugh was fixing the car. Upon the hitchhiker's return to the mountain house, the couple confronts her for having $20,000 inside her bag. They wonder whether she stole it or if someone is hunting her down. However, the annoyed guest shares that it's her parents' inheritance, which makes the producer suspicious. Shortly after, Katherine insists on taking Liza to the police. However, he refuses to get involved. When his partner worries because their guest has a gun, the actor assures her that he has the bullets and the traveler wouldn't hurt them. After calming down, the producer asks her husband to fix the phone lines, unaware that he's the one who snapped it. However, he reasons that he's not an engineer to do that. That night, while Hugh is sleeping on the couch, he awakens and surprisingly finds Liza in front of him with a glass and a liquor bottle. The guest then confesses that she stole the money and doesn't want Katherine to know about it. Suddenly, the producer walks in and interrupts their conversation. Later, the trio goes drinking and using an illegal substance. Shortly after, Liza insists they share spooky stories. She initiates and then narrates about a hitchhiker girl who gets on a motorbike at night and disappears when the vehicle stops. Shortly after, the actor cuffs and excuses himself because he wants to take a bath outside. While Hugh is gone, the guest browses some photos in the box and discovers the image of the producer's mom. When Liza compliments the beauty of Katherine's mom, the woman shares that her late mother wasn't warm and tended to drink when life got overwhelming. Later, the guest shares her thoughts about equality for women, pointing out that it's impossible to achieve because the Lord Almighty is a male. Then the hitchhiker asserts that she hates men and strangely suggests the producer let go of Hugh. Upon hearing this, Katherine is confused as she wants to have a family with her partner. She reveals that she bought a house, thinking he'd like it. However, in response, the wanderer claims that the actor is unsuitable for the woman, prompting the producer to share that she has already saved her spouse from a terrible relationship. Suddenly, Liza discovers newspapers inside the box. Upon seeing this, Katherine reveals that the prints were already there before they moved in. Suddenly, the guest feels hungry and heads to the fridge at the producer's suggestion. Before going to the kitchen, the guest puts her handgun in her back pocket. Then, she goes to the kitchen and accidentally pricks her finger when she touches the knife's tip, getting the producer's attention. Suddenly, Liza plays music on the radio and invites the woman to dance. While dancing, Katherine discovers the visitor's weapon, prompting her to get it and put it on the dining table. As they move outside, the producer asks the traveler if she has met many men. In response, the hitchhiker shares that she had an encounter with a married man when she was a teenager. Shortly after, she kisses the producer, but their moment is interrupted when they hear Hugh coming. When the actor walks to the poolside, Katherine takes the rubber duck he holds and throws it to Liza, prompting the man to chase the hitchhiker. Shortly after, the two end up falling on the beach chair, causing the producer to intervene when they see them having fun. However, the guest ignores her and ends up positioning the toy for Hugh to catch, intentionally pushing the producer into the pool. When the actor pulls his partner to the poolside, she tells him it's their guest's fault. However, he believes that it was only an accident. Upon hearing this, Liza admits to doing it and apologizes. Before it leads to an argument, the performer insists on accompanying his wife inside so she can cool down and rest. Later, Katherine initiates to be intimate with Hugh, but he declines, reasoning that he is not in the mood. Disappointed, the producer assumes that his actual reason involved their guest, who had been flirting with him since the morning. However, the man denies this and later asks his partner if she thinks he's a good actor. When the woman affirms that he's a phenomenal performer, he doubts himself and shares that he doesn't know the difference between acting and not. Upon hearing this, Katherine assumes Liza has gotten into her husband's head. In response, he tells his partner to calm down and then makes love with her. Meanwhile, Liza discovers disconnected phone lines when she attempts to make a call. That night, the producer dreams of waking up in the middle of the night only to see her husband lying in his blood in the poolside. As she walks toward the pool, Liza emerges from the water and doesn't disclose who she is when the producer asks for her true identity. Instead, she advises the woman that she needs a little darkness to see the light. Following this, she hears a loud bang and sees the guest in the middle of the road. The next day, Hugh wakes up and joins the hitchhiker sitting on the beach chair. Shortly after, the actor asks Liza if she wants to consider acting. The traveler then shows interest and inquires about intimate scenes, prompting the man to share that kisses mean nothing between performers. Upon hearing this, the wanderer confirms this by leaning in and kissing the man. However, Katherine catches their act and confronts them about it. She calls out the hitchhiker for her inappropriate behavior and reminds her that she took her in to help her. However, the runaway asserts that the producer only brought her there to show off. As they argue, the jealous woman expresses that she wants Liza gone, prompting her to rise and reveal that she is just helping her. As the traveler packs her stuff, the woman calls it quits with her partner and tells him that their movie project is over. However, the man only pleads and promises to fix the phone line so someone can sort out their car. However, as Hugh goes inside to fix the phone, he notices that the handset is gone, revealing that the wanderer did something with it the night before. Meanwhile, Liza notices that her handgun is missing from her bag. When Liza confronts Katherine about this, the producer takes the gun and aims it at the traveler. The man asks his partner to return the firearm to the owner to address the situation. However, she refuses and shares that in her dream, the traveler ended his life. The hitchhiker takes the expensive painting with her because she can't get her weapon back. As the traveler climbs on the rock formation, the couple follows her to retrieve the artwork. When Liza reaches the top, she threatens the producer to throw the artwork if she doesn't get her gun back. However, Katherine refuses and still aims the firearm at her. The shooter then confronts the traveler about where she got her money. In response, the Wanderer shares that she got it from deceased people because they no longer need it. Despite Katherine's threats, Liza refuses to surrender the artwork and even challenges her to pull the trigger. Annoyed, the producer shoots, causing the hitchhiker and the painting to fall. While the actor searches for the traveler below, the woman steals their guest's money from the bag. Shortly after, the Wanderer survives and climbs the formation without the artwork, which relieves Hugh. After taking her bag, she gets her handgun and then leaves, prompting the actor to run after her. While Katherine tries to retrieve the painting alone, Hugh reaches Liza to tell her that she's heading in the wrong direction. However, the hitchhiker reveals she has the handset and asks the actor why he snapped the lines, prompting him to respond that he didn't want any distraction. Knowing that the actor likes her, the traveler walks closer to him and asks him if he will give up anything for her. The performer nods, and they have an intimate moment with each other. Suddenly, Liza interrupts their kissing and forces Hugh to promise to tell his wife everything about them. However, the man clarifies that Katherine isn't really his wife. He reveals that his true spouse is at home and thinks that he's in the mountains filming. Meanwhile, after the producer retrieves the broken artwork, she feels good about not being dependent on anybody and then celebrates her freedom by swimming. Afterward, she climbs the rocks and throws the expensive painting, marking her detachment from material things. Concurrently, Liza continues to make love with the unfaithful Hugh, who asks her to get away together. Suddenly, she gets the firearm from her bag and puts it in the man's hand. Shortly after, the woman squeezes the actor's hand to pull the trigger and end his life, revealing her frustration with cheating and stupid men. Afterward, the shooter grabs her bag and walks away with blood on her face. Upon hearing the loud bang, Katherine descends from the formation. As the sun sets, the producer walks on the roadside, heading home alone.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.